Donald Trump declares victory even when he loses. This is just another day. Now, if there's one thing you can't deny about this president, it's that he's tenacious. If there were four things, it would be that he's tenacious, out of touch, uneducated, and an astonishingly petty asshole. But if we're just keeping it at one today, let's stick with tenacious.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace, that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
But never say never. Never say never.
That's Trump talking to Canada's newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney and treating the annexation of his country like it's a family restaurant standing in the way of the construction of one of his casinos. Not taking no for an answer is one of the hallmarks of Trump's life, and it's that type of tenacity that made him a wealthy real estate developer and, more recently, a convicted felon who was found liable of sexual abuse. But this spirit of determination, or what some may call disrespectful ignorance, has been on full display since the moment Trump came back into office.
And nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours.
Hell yes, the future is ours. Trump will not be denied, even when it comes down to claiming ownership over a period of time that has yet to occur. This never say never attitude is totally emblematic of his worldview. Take the annexation of another country Trump has been dickishly focused on.
Greenland is not and will never be for sale. Greenland is for Greenlanders, and that's how it is, and that's how it's going to be forever.
That was Greenland's prime minister echoing the same sentiment as Mark Carney. His country is not on the market, but nevertheless, he persisted.
You are not ruling out military force to take Greenland.
I don't rule it out. I don't say I'm going to do it, but I don't rule out anything. No, not there.
Why would he rule it out? Only wimps would back down from a fight that they started with a NATO ally that would entangle us in a war with 30 other allied countries. And Trump is no wimp. He is a tough guy that doesn't play by the rules. You tell him he can only have one wife, he'll have three. You tell him his steak company can't last a month, he'll make it last twice as long before discontinuing it due to low sales. You tell this man he can't buy his own golf courses and then subsequently win all of the tournaments held there, he will make you eat those words and then wash him down with his vodka that only lasted all of 6 years on the market. The point is, Trump will not be deterred in any aspect of his life.
The Supreme Court has unanimously ruled against the Trump administration in a case regarding a Maryland man that the administration wrongfully arrested and deported to an El Salvador mega prison last month.
Even when the Supreme Court, the one that Donald Trump stacked with his own hand-picked judges, ruled against him, he wouldn't let that stand in his way.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
You see, it's not what he heard. Trump is an extremely busy man. He's not going to hear every little thing, like who's dating around the office or which parts of the Constitution the Supreme Court expects him to follow. Trump didn't hear it in very much the same way Walton Goggins couldn't hear it when people said, "Don't wear that" to the Met Gala. And when you're the type of person who has been blessed with not just stellar hearing, but the superb ability to recognize that anything is possible, why wouldn't you apply that to term limits?
Trump Organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do.
To the best of his knowledge. And come on, he has the best knowledge. He also surrounds himself with the best people. So if he or any of his amazing employees haven't heard about the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, that's probably because it isn't even true. I mean, if it was true, that would make this guy look pretty fucking bad. But you don't, Eric. You look very, very cool and smart and totally, definitely not stupid. But Trump's tenacity isn't just applied to the people and laws that stand in his way, it's also applied to reality and his refusal to accept it.
You did take your case to court about that.
Back.
You took your case to court about your allegations against the election. Let me ask you,
There's no question about it. The election was rigged. The facts are in. And It's still being litigated. Let's go.
You did take your case to court more than 60 times and didn't win those cases.
I won a lot of court cases.
Just to button that up, though, sir.
Yep, over 5 years and 60 court cases later, Donald Trump is still preaching never say never about an election that he lost. But I guess it's worth asking, can you truly lose an election if you believe you've won? Yes, because that's just how math works. Just because the president might hang a Ted Lasso sign over the door of the Oval Office does not magically overturn an election. But in fairness, the ability for certain chosen people to operate within the reality distortion field is what has given our culture so many things we'd otherwise be deprived of. The iPhone, Disney World, the biggest measles outbreak in years. And just because someone spends their early years being mentored by a notoriously ruthless guy like Roy Cohn, who preached that you can always claim victory and never admit defeat, does not necessarily mean that their mentee is capable of doing such audacious work. I mean, since Liberation Day, Trump has been banging the deals drum. Deals, deals, deals has been the incessant loop from him and every single person inside this administration. 90 deals in 90 days was the rally cry throughout Washington, D.C. So it would be a masterful feat if he was able to somehow change his tune while also denying that that was ever his tune in the first place.
Because everyone says, when are you going to sign deals? We don't have to sign deals. We could sign 25 deals right now, Howard.
Yeah, signing deals is easy. All that means is halting the pain being inflicted on the American consumer and admitting your campaign promises about lowering costs on day one was a complete fiction. Not signing deals, now that's hard. And not only are you a fool for accepting the reality of Donald Trump's promises that a big, beautiful deal was imminent, you're also too dim to understand that by surrendering to that truth, you're actually depriving yourself of a new, extravagant USA.
We're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store.
Oh, you mean the stores that most Americans can't afford to shop in. Trump's Hope Springs Eternal mantra is going to turn this country from a nation with steady trading partners into a flashy brick-and-mortar store where you can trade in your car for a nice small handbag. But nowhere was Trump's never-ending battle against reality on display more than this morning in his meeting with Canada's newly elected Prime Minister. Polling in Canada showed that after Trump started his 51st state talk, Canadian national pride surged and the Liberals gained 15 points over the Conservatives practically overnight. This was the pivotal issue in the Canadian election. Donald Trump opening his mouth and reminding Canadians why they should vote against anyone who might be friendly to his administration. Or as Trump sees it,
as you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take vote credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning. So I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics.
I mean, only this guy could give himself credit for instigating one of the, quote, greatest comebacks in the history of politics, as if it's a win for Trump, when his mere presence in the race is what sunk the candidate who Trump actually wanted. This is like Bill Buckner claiming that his world-famous error was actually a strategic masterpiece. When it comes to tenaciously ignoring the law, the words people say, or even the reality before him, Trump is a workhorse. And while some may say that nothing will ever be able to stop him, I like to take my cues from the man himself.
Never say never. Never say never.
Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.